السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. O Allah, show us the truth as true and inspire us to follow it. Show us falsehood as falsehood and inspire us to abstain from it. Welcome to the fourth episode of Yusuf alayhi salam series. Up until now, we have reached to a point where Yusuf alayhi salam was brought into Egypt as a slave and he was working for the minister. And when he has reached his youth, he was being slandered by the wife of the minister and then by multiple women of Egypt. And he abstained himself from that slander, and he protected himself from doing any kind of sin. And then the woman conspired against him, and the ministers conspired against him and put him into the prison instead of correcting the women of the land. So so far we have reached to a point when Yusuf alayhi salam was in the prison, and two of his inmates, they saw a dream, and Yusuf alayhi salam gave the interpretation of that dream. And then Yusuf alayhi salam asked those inmates to mention him to the kings once they're out of the prison. So one of the inmates was being killed because of some of the accusation that he had, and the other inmate, he was free. He became free and became the cupbearer of the king. Yet he forgot to mention Yusuf alayhi salam, as we see in the ayats of the Quran that Shaitan made him forget it. And then all of these episodes have been discussed in the previous, all of these scenarios have been discussed in the previous episodes. And now we have came to a point when the king himself saw a dream. The inmate and the cupbearer, he forgot to mention Yusuf alayhi salam to the king. But now we have reached to ayah 43, which describes that the king himself saw a dream. Before we move into that particular ayah, one of the interesting observation that we see in the Quran is whenever the king of Yusuf alayhi salam era is mentioned, he is called as Malik. Whereas whenever the king of Pharaoh, the king of Musa alayhi salam is mentioned, he is mentioned with the name of Pharaoh in the Quran. Why is there a difference in the names while both of these kings are the kings of Egypt? One of the interesting observation that the historians found was was around 1820s when they were able to read the hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics was the style the ancient Egypts used to write their own history. Once the historians were able to read those hieroglyphics, they found out that ancient Egypt was around 3,000 years. The span was around 3,000 years. And those 3,000 years has been divided into 31 or 32 dynasties. Those 31 and 32 dynasties have been divided into 10 or 11 bigger eras. And the dynasties were made according to the different families that hold the political power, or maybe the dynasty would change once they have foreign invasions or some other political party who will come into the ruling of that particular land. They would change their dynasties, and all of those 31 or 32 dynasties have been grouped into 10 kingdoms, and the kingdom which was between 2050 to 1710 BCE is called as Middle Kingdom, and the kingdom between 1550 and 1070 BCE is called as New Kingdom. The era where Yusuf alayhi salam was sent to the Egypt is called as Middle Kingdom. During the Middle Kingdom, when they read the hieroglyphics, they realized that during the Middle Kingdom, the term pharaoh was used for the institution, was used for the palaces. The term pharaoh was not used for one particular king, whereas in the New Kingdom, the time when Musa alayhi salam was sent in Egypt, was born in Egypt, that's called as the New Kingdom. And within the New Kingdom, even the kings were given the title of pharaoh. That is why we see that whenever king of the Middle Kingdom and king of the time of Yusuf alayhi salam is mentioned, this is called as Malik. Whereas the king at the time of Musa alayhi salam is mentioned, this is called as Pharaoh. So now let's read the ayah. Ayah 43, where Allah is mentioning that the king himself now saw a dream. Now, within this surah, we have seen that we can see that there is a culture of trying to find the interpretation of the dreams. Yes, Brother Zen, your hand is up. Take the mic, Brother Zen.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to add that there is one more thing that I just wanted to say over here is that the term Pharaoh has not been used by Quran in the context of Yusuf alayhi salam. But
Yeah.
if you see other biblical narrations and like Torah or Bible, there is a historic inaccuracy that could be found over there because
Yeah.
they universally used the term Pharaoh for the ruler of Egypt in the time of Yusuf alayhi salam and in the time of Musa alayhi salam. So here at Quran, it is one of the miracles of the Quran again that it precisely tells that the ruler at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam was not Pharaoh, and it uses the word al-Malik while it uses the term Pharaoh, Pharaoh, for the ruler of the time of Musa alayhi salam. So it also corrects the narratives of biblical traditions, while the Quran is the word of Allah, and and this also shows the contradiction and the distortion in the biblical narratives.
Yeah, very rightly spotted. Yep.
Yeah.
Jazakallah khair. So now let's read the ayah. وقال الملك إني أرى سبع بقرات سمان يأكلهن سبع إجاف وسبع سنبلات خضر وأخر يابسات يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في رؤياي إن كنتم لرؤياي تعبرون. And the king said, I am seeing 7 fat cows that 7 thin ones eat, and 7 green spikes of grain, with others dried up. High Council, give me your verdict on my vision, if you really do see what lies behind visions. So now we see that finding the interpretation of dream was quite a thing at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam. We have seen that Yusuf alayhi salam saw a dream himself, and the inmates of the prison, they have seen the dream and they are looking for its interpretation. And now the king himself has seen a dream and he is looking for the interpretation. So what has he seen? Whatever he has seen, he is giving the word of ru'ya. Ru'ya is another interesting observation is ru'ya is the word that has been used by the Quran whenever a true dream is shown to any prophet or anyone. Allah used the term ru'ya. And then whereas there is another term for the dreams, it's called ihlam. Ihlam are the dreams which are which can be sent by devil himself, or there can be dreams which we see according to our day-to-day life, whatever worries we are having, whatever our day-to-day matters are, we can see that in our dreams. But then there is a particular kind of dreams, and these are called as ru'ya. These dreams are particularly from Allah. I'm sorry. These dreams, ru'ya, these dreams are from Allah, and these are true dreams. And then there are ihlam, these dreams are from shaitan, and these dreams can be about our desires or can be just to frighten us. And then there can be dreams from our nafs according to our day-to-day lives. So the Malik, the king, is asking, so it looks like, Ya ayyuhal mala'u, it seems like the king has few people, few dream interpreters on his payroll, and this is quite a usual thing that the king and the people around, they ask for the interpretations of the dreams. They do understand that there are few dreams that can be divine signals, and now the king is asking that what can be the interpretation of the dream. Ru'ya has a similar meaning to the vision that we see, to the things that we see in the reality. The king is saying that my dream was as my vision looks like as reality. Whereas look at the reply that the people, the dream interpreters, the palace, the royal dream interpreters are talking. They said, قالوا, they said, أضغاث أحلام. They replied, these are bundles of meaningless dreams. Ahlam. The king has said ru'ya, whereas the dream interpreters are saying these are ahlam, these are meaningless, jumbled up visions, and we do not have the capacity to give the interpretations. وَمَا نَحْنُ بِتَأْوِيلِ الْأَحْلَامِ بِعَالَمِينَ. And we absolutely do not have the capacity to decipher these kind of dreams. We are no experts. So they are, instead of saying that your dream, whatever your dream is, we do not know about your dream, we do not know the interpretation, they are just turning the table by saying, oh no, your question is nonsense. It's not our ability. It's not that we are not able. It's just you, and your question is so nonsense. While it looks like that the king is quite disturbed by this dream, and the king has seen this dream as if it was something real. And then um, that's why, so we can see that the dreams, all of the dreams, we cannot just ignore all of the dreams. There are few dreams that are by Allah, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that if somebody has seen a good dream, let him thank Allah and tell it only to someone who he loves. But if he has seen something he dislikes, let him not tell it to anyone and seek refuge from Allah, from its evil and from shaitan, and spread dryly 3 times to his left. Brother Samir, take the mic, please. Your hand is up.
I just wanted to add there as well. He had a priest, the idol priest, on the payroll who used to do a dream interpretation, and they used to do a black magic to get the dream interpretation. Now, to understand this, why they were failed to do this dream interpretation, because it was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So like the similar way the jinns are being used to do the black magic, and the similar way they cannot produce the Quranic ayat even with the black magic because it's coming from the Holy Allah, right? The similar way this dream was a holy dream from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so they were failed to do it. So hiding their abilities, they said this dream is a nonsense, and they just want to get away from the situation because they were failed to do it, and their black magic wasn't even working to do the interpretation. That's all.
Jazakallah khair. Let's move forward. So now we can see a contrast at how the king is using the word for his dream as ru'ya, and how the dream interpreters has dismissed the whole idea and say these are ihlam and we have no ability to interpret or decipher these ihlam. And then the king had he's asking everyone, what can this dream mean? And then his cupbearer, who was once an inmate of Yusuf alayhi salam, and who forgot that he has to mention Yusuf alayhi salam to the king, all of a sudden he remembers something. وَقَالَ الَّذِي نَجَا مِنْهُمَا وَادَّكَرَ بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ. The one who survived from those two, who remembered after a long time, spoke up. أَنَا أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِتَأْوِيلِهِ فَأَرْسِلُونَ. I will tell you all its true meaning. Just permit me to go out. So here he is using the word I. Ana unabbiukum. I will tell you. I will tell you all bita'wilihi. I will tell you all its interpretation. Just let me go. So now he has forgotten to mention Yusuf alayhi salam to the king because the shaitan made him forget it. But now, because of this scene, because of the dream that the king has seen, the cupbearer now remembers Yusuf alayhi salam. And even when he remembers Yusuf alayhi salam, he did not bother to mention him. Now there is a profound understanding, profound wisdom to mention this part, because we never know when we are acting as a cupbearer within our society, within our families, within our jobs. So here we have king. Just imagine the whole scenario. We have king and he is worried about an interpretation. And now we have the cupbearer, and he has listened to the whole conversation. And by listening to the whole conversation, he immediately remembers that, oh, he remembers somebody who can provide right interpretations of the dreams, and yet he did not mention him. What can be the reasons that the cupbearer did not mention Yusuf alayhi salam? And he said, just let me go and I will bring you the right interpretation. He did not say that I know a person who can give the right interpretation, because this is something we observe in our society, that people are after the entitlement themselves. This is something that the corporate ladder, people want to climb up the corporate ladder, that once the cupbearer himself would bring the right interpretation, the king would give him promotion or give him some rewards, that, oh wow, you have brought the right interpretation. So that's why he was not bothered to mention Yusuf alayhi salam. And then imagine when the cupbearer was traveling from the palace to the prison, he must have been thinking that, oh, what would I say to Yusuf alayhi salam, that what would I say to Yusuf, that I forgot to mention your name? And then he might be thinking that I will make this excuse or that excuse. And then ultimately he decided that, oh, let me just ignore everything and let me just go in front of Yusuf alayhi salam as if nothing happened, as if I've entirely forgotten. This might give me a benefit of doubt. And now that person has entered the prison, and then see what he does once he entered the prison. What he does is, Yusuf, ayyuha sidq, Yusuf, you, the man of truth, أفتنا في سبع بقرات سمان يأكلهن سبع إجاف. Give us your verdict on 7 fat cows that 7 thin ones eat. وسبع سنبلات خضر وآخر يابسات, and 7 green spikes of grain with others dried up. لعلي أرجع إلى الناس لعلهم يعلمون, so that I can go back to the people and hopefully they will come to know. So the cupbearer entered the prison and he said, Yusuf, oh, you, the man of the truth, can you please give me, just come straight to the business and give me the verdict on these 7 fat cows that the thin ones eat and 7 green spikes of grain while others dry up, so I can go back. Now, this is an important word. So I can go back to the people and hopefully they will come to know. So he still did not mention that he is going to go back to the king and the king might know. He only mentioned the people. And now look at the generosity and how highly esteemed Yusuf alayhi salam was. Instead of asking him, where have you been? Why didn't you do the small tiny task that I asked you to do? Yusuf alayhi salam did not say any single thing. He just gave the reply, and whatever knowledge Allah has given him, he provided that knowledge with excellence to the cupbearer, because upon listening to the dream, Yusuf alayhi salam realized that this is something related to national security. This is something related to the provision to the poor, because 7 very bad years are about to come. So instead of holding the knowledge back to him, he provided the best of the interpretations, whatever best knowledge Allah has given him, he provided that knowledge to the cupbearer. So Yusuf alayhi salam said, قَالَ تَزْرَعُونَ سَبْعَ سِنِينَ دَأَبًا فَمَا does somebody know how to move this slide, because I'm unable to read the Arabic because of this bar keep on coming. Anyways, he said, now Yusuf alayhi salam is replying that you will plant diligently for 7 years. Da'aban is something, is a word which means back to back, without stopping, relentlessly. So you will plant diligently for 7 years, and whatever you harvest, leave inside its spikes, except the small amount which you will eat. So Yusuf alayhi salam immediately gave the interpretation of the dream, that you are going to harvest day in, day out, without any break, without any holiday. If one group of people are tired and taken off, the other group of people should come back and take their place and harvest, because you are going to harvest for 7 consecutive years. And those 7 consecutive years, you will not only harvest for those 7 years, but you will also harvest for the coming 7 years, because the coming 7 years, you are going to have a very, very bad drought. There will be no rains, and you will have to use whatever whatever you have reserved within the first abundant 7 years, you will use that in the upcoming 7 years. Right after that comes 7 tough years, which will consume what you have prepared in advance for them, except for a small amount which you will keep in reserve. So Yusuf alayhi salam has told that you are going to harvest for these 7 years, and that harvest will be consumed in the coming 7 years. And the methodology he gave is that you will keep all of the harvest within inside its spike. So for example, when we see the corn, we take the outer part of the corn out so that we can eat the corn. What Yusuf alayhi salam is instructing them is leave the outer covering of the grains and everything that you are harvesting. Just keep that intact so you can preserve it for all of those 14 years. So after this, so the king saw 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 thin ones, 7 green spikes, and 7 dried up. So this is 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of drought. So up until now, it's 14 years. And now Yusuf alayhi salam, by the will of Allah, by the knowledge that Allah has given him, is telling him about the 15th year. ثم يأتي من بعد ذلك آمٌ فيه. And right after that will come a year in which the people will replenish with rain. ذلك آمٌ فيه يغاث الناس وفيه يعصرون. يغاث means is the amount of the rain which is so good to finish the thirst of the ground in a way that it will grow the best of the crops. And such good crops are going to come out that they will be able to press wines and juices and oils out of it. So sometimes we have rain that will lead to the floods, and sometimes we have rain that is not enough for the land to provide good crops. But Yusuf alayhi salam is giving them the good news that after these 14 years, another year would come. And that year would be such a good year that you will have just the right amount of rain, and that will replenish your land, and that will make you feel like it's heaven on earth. So Yusuf alayhi salam is giving them a glad tiding that after those 7 bad years, 7 years of famine, you will those 7 years are going to end as well, and you will have a year where you will harvest and where it will rain and it will feel like heaven. So from these 3 ayahs, I think we have received such amazing economic policies that a lot can be derived out of them. Brother Zain, please take the mic, and after that, Brother Samir has done research about what kind of economic policy and planning approach we can learn from Yusuf alayhi Islam's strategy. So please, Brother Samir, take the mic after Brother Zain.
Yeah, I was just going through a book of history regarding the Egypt, and they mentioned that the amount of experience and the wisdom they gained from the strategy and from the methodology of Yusuf alayhi salam, that after those droughts, after those famines, so Egypt has also encountered some other famines and some other droughts also. So after that, Yusuf Ali, upon acting upon the strategies of Yusuf alayhi salam, they have saved many people afterwards. And I was just going to the history of Banu Israel, where there was a ruler, Amini, who speak about his role in eliminating the famine. And he said that when years of famine came, I plowed this much land, I did this strategy, I did that, and not even a single hungry person was found among them. So we get to know that he was like the first one to introduce this strategy. And after that, the people and the world has seen a new economic revolution, you can say. So this has been the roles of the prophets of Allah and the Rasul of Allah. So they are not just the spiritual leaders; they are the economic leaders and the political leaders also. So this could be taken from here.
Jazakallah khair. Brilliant point added. Brother Samir, please take the mic.
Okay, so according to the Yusuf alayhi salam, right, So he said, store during abundance. He advised Egypt to store surplus grain during 7 good years, sustainable usage. Only consume what needed. Distribute during crisis. Ensure reserves for the 7 years of famine. So the number 4 was economic justice. The system benefit all, not just the elites. So now we're going to look at the current times, the strategy of some of the good countries like Norway. Sovereign wealth funds. Norway saves a large portion of its oil revenue in the government pension funds global, worth over $1 trillion. It invests ethically for future generation with strict governance and transparency. Why they do it is obviously they're trying to give the benefit to their generation, not even just for themselves. They can even use these oil resources in the current times and just live the luxury life. But the nations built with the planning for the future generation planning as well, not to just care about themselves, but even to provide the resources to generate the resources for their coming generation as well. Number 2, Bhutan. Gross national happiness. Rather than GDP alone, Bhutan measures economic success by holistic well. Now, looking at the holistic well-being, prioritizing sustainability, equity, and emotional spiritual health. How can spiritual health and the mental health can help you to have a better economy? Less stress, people are less frustrated, less crime, and they focus more, their brain works better, health is good. Even they can survive in a tough times with the less food as well. Okay, they stay active, good, what you call, so they have a good routine, they're very organized. So these kind of things help economically them as well, because they're active with the work, they're not lazy people. Singapore strategic reserves. Singapore maintain national stockpiles of essentials like food and medicines and practice long-term urban and financial plannings. So these are the top 3, which actually show us in the current times the strategies, which is kind of a similar principle of no 100%, but similar principle like Yousuf al-Islam. So the resources they're about to lose, they're planning to generate more resources with the current resources by using them less and leaving for the current for the future generation, and to work more and do more research onto them to provide more and more resources for the long terms. So generally speaking, most countries today operates on a system driven by interest and a power, often exploiting people and adjust policies without genuine empathy for the citizen, like promoting consumerism, trying to make them spend more, toxic feminism to destroy families, and promiscuity, etc. Okay, now to understand this, in the current times, if you look at the elites actually looking after elites, even the leaders not working in the favor of their citizens. Looking at the Yusuf alayhi salam, Yusuf alayhi salam was not hungry for the position to serve the people. He didn't need any title. He did not said, okay, once you give me the position, then I give you the solution. So the true leader are the genuine leaders are the ones. They don't need the position. They're not hungry, power hungry, or they don't wait for their position to be a high level to serve the people and the country. If you have a genuine empathy for the people to do something and correct their position for the future, and you really care about for your generation and your deen and Allah's order, you don't need to worry about any position to be taken first and then I'm going to show my hard work and I'm going to show my skill. No, your skills come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you serve them without gaining anything in return by any mean, like Yusuf alayhi salam did. As far as we all know, all the prophets are the best example for us, so we have to follow those examples. Sorry, somebody said anything?
Yeah, no, Jazakallah khair. So you have talked about the modern application of the strategy that Yusuf alayhi salam.
Sister Marine, we can't hear you.
Want to add something else as well?
Sorry, say again?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, you have told us about few modern application of the strategy Yusuf alayhi salam gave. Another profound point that I would like to discuss here, that generally we see that Quran forbids us to collect a lot for ourselves. So for example, in Surah Al-Humadah, Allah is saying, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ يَحْسَبُ أَنَّ مَالَهُ أَخْلَدَ. So Allah is saying that woe unto every slander traducer who gather wealth of this world and arrange it, and he think that his wealth is going to make him immortal. So here we are seeing a contrast that Yusuf alayhi salam is giving the lesson that they should reserve their resources during the time of abundance. Whereas on the other hand, Allah is saying that one should not store or one should not gather anything beyond his requirement. Allah says that give in charity whatever is beyond your own requirement. So this is a contrast, and by contrast, we need to understand that this contrast is within the contrast of individuals versus community, individuals versus nations. We, us as individuals, we are not supposed to hold on to quite a lot of wealth. We are supposed to generate wealth and then spend our wealth and then give a lot of charities. Whereas, on the contrary, from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah is teaching the humanity that if you are on the government level, if you are on the national level, if you are the organizer of the whole ummah or humanity, you should be really careful on where you are spending your resources. Government, our nation should not use or waste his national resources onto projects that are not very profitable for the upcoming generations. We should not have the mindset that these 5 years we will use all of our national resources on projects that will just show that wow, what an effective government this was, and the coming next 5 years the national reserves are empty. This is not the mentality Allah is teaching to the nations at the governance level. When we are at the governance level, we should prepare ourselves from any kind of famine, any kind of drought, any kind of pandemic, and we should know where we are using our resources so when a difficult time or calamity hits the nation, the government is able to take care of the poor and hungry and put food on their table, just like they will put food on the table of the elites of the society. Otherwise, if there is an economic turmoil, this would lead to political turmoil, and that will lead to a social unrest and the family breakages, and the whole cycle will be disrupted. So Yusuf alayhi salam was given this knowledge to protect Egypt from an upcoming famine. So now we have seen that Yusuf alayhi salam has given the interpretation of that particular dream, and the cupbearer took that interpretation and went back to the king and gave him the verdict. Yes, Brother Zen?
Yeah, I was wondering one thing more. That Yusuf alayhi salam was given this knowledge because that knowledge at that time was very much prevalent, and everyone was knowing it, and that was the highest science and highest power for that time. So one thing comes in mind that the prophet is sent to the qawm with the highest power of the qawm that's prevalent amongst them. So we see that the magic that was used in Musa alayhi salam's time. So Musa alayhi salam was given another type of miracle which just deterred and deferred all the magic. Likewise, we see Isa alayhi salam. He's got the science of like bringing the dead to life, and that is why Isa alayhi salam, when he will come at the at the at the final times, at the last near to the day of judgment, so he will, even then, even at this time, no one can bring the dead to life. So Isa alayhi salam will bring the dead to life, and Isa alayhi salam will do the things which even the medical science or even the science at the highest technology couldn't do it right now. So this is another proof that Isa alayhi salam would also come in the last hour. So the Nabi, the Prophet, is given the highest authority and highest power of that prevalent time. So Yusuf alayhi salam was also given the same thing. He has got the interpretations of the dreams, which was prevalent, but he was given another level of interpretation. So that was the ilm al-ladunni. It was the ilm from Allah.
Yeah.
So
Jazakallah.
yeah.
Jazakallah khair for adding this amazing point. Brother Sami, take the mic.
Yes, just to add to the brother Zain, when Isa alayhi salam will come back, he will have a competitor of the Dajjal, which will have the similar miracle, who will show your dead parents back to life once. And even though the people will come in front of him to show them a miracle, he will make them die once and then bring back to the life again. So then Isa alayhi salam come, and he will have a proper grip onto the miracle he's showing with the black magic or whatever he's using the jinn for. Isa alayhi salam destroy him with the miracle of Allah, with a similar miracle. That's it.
Okay. So the point that you are trying to establish is the prophets, they have the best of the knowledge, or whatever prevalent high class knowledge or skill the society is already having. The prophet just upscale it and prove from his prove that the skills and knowledge that he has been given is not humanly possible. This has to be divine. So now let's move on to the story. When the cupbearer went back to the king and gave all of the interpretation to the king, and now the king knows that the cupbearer has been working with him all these years, and the king from hearing the interpretation might have known that these cannot be the words of the cupbearer himself. So the cupbearer would be asked, and he would have told them that he would have told the king that these are the words of Yusuf alayhi salam. And then the king said, وقال الملك وقال الملك ائتوني به. And then the king said, bring him to me. فلما, so the king now is asking that go and bring the Yusuf to me. فلما جاءه الرسول قال ارجع إلى ربك فاسأله ما بال النسوة التي قطعن أيديهن. So then the messenger from the king went to Yusuf alayhi salam. And when he went, the Yusuf alayhi salam said, go back to your master and ask him about the current status of the women who cut their hands, because Inna Rabbi bikaydihinna alim, because my master is aware of their schemes. So it looks like the king. What do you think by the look of this ayah? What do you think? Has the king released an official royal command or royal order to bring that man to his court, or the king might have sent a messenger to invite Yusuf alayhi salam? If the king had sent an official order, then Yusuf alayhi salam would not have the capacity to say no to that order, that I'm not going with you. I need to know what is happening with the women who cut their hands. If it had been an order, the soldiers or whatever messengers the king had sent, he would drag him and bring him to the court. It looks like this king has sent him an invitation. And when Yusuf alayhi salam has received this royal invitation, he, instead of accepting it, he asked for a trial. He asked for his case to be reopened. Have you ever seen a prison who has been in a prison for these many years? He is not able to enjoy fresh air. He is not able to look at the open sky. He is bound to whatever the guardians of the prisons are asking him to do. And now he has received a royal invitation and he is not accepting it. He is letting the royal invitation go back and asking the king to open his case, and he needs another trial for his case because he has been sent to the prison without having this trial. He needs a fair trial now. And he's asking that, are those women still in power? Are those women still able to plan anything against him? So what do you think are the profound wisdom that why Yusuf alayhi salam might have sent the royal messenger back and asked the king to initially open that case for him back again? Can anybody think of any reasons behind it? Instead of accepting the freedom, instead of saying that Allah will take care of me, I will go out and I will serve as somebody royal. I will take the rewards of giving the right interpretation of the dream, and Allah will take care of those women and Allah will protect me. Instead of doing that, he is making sure that the case is open and then his name is clear and his innocence is proved. And if his innocence is not proved, then prison is better than whatever the free world has to offer. Sister Kazima?
Yes, I want to add here some points. First is that this ayah shows that there was not a proper order, there was not a proper rule for the prisoners, because Yusuf alayhi salam was for a few years in the prison, and the king even forget about the matter. So Yusuf alayhi salam is reminding him that there should be a proper ruling for the prisoners. And secondly, the Yusuf alayhi salam wants to prove that he is innocent. He was on haq, and he is mentioning about all those women who have cut their hands, instead of pointing towards the wife of the king. He's pointing towards all those women who have cut their hands. So it will also going to benefit Yusuf alayhi salam, because when the king's wife will hear this, he will give a statement towards the that Yusuf alayhi salam is Siddiq. So this is a very beautiful strategy that Yusuf alayhi salam has adopted. Yeah, that's from my side.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Brother Sami, you wanted to add something?
Yes, it's my opinion. I think Yusuf alayhi salam just did not come out from the prison because he given the dream interpretation to the king and he go happy and he wanted to release him. He wanted to do. He wanted to go back by the book, the same system and which Allah has described. The law is equal for everyone, and he wanted to open his case, do the proper investigation, and then prove innocent, and then come out without any king's favor. I think that was the only, this was the one of the reason as well. Yusuf alayhi salam wanted to open his case and then come out innocent with the proper by the book of the law.
So here, this slide was prepared by Brother Zain, that Yusuf alayhi salam is prioritizing his integrity over urgency. So he is preferring that his innocence has to be announced publicly. So the king knows that even in anyone's absence, even in the absence of his minister, Yusuf alayhi salam is a man of integrity, is a man of right character. That even in the absence of the king, he is not a man who will become disloyal to him. He is a man of loyalty. He is a man of character, the right character. If his innocence is proved, okay, then he accepts freedom. If not, and if those women are still out there, are still in power, are still in the ability to bring slander to him, are still in the ability, they still have the ability to do diabolical schemes against him, then Yusuf alayhi salam would prefer prison to freedom. So now, when the messenger, whoever the royal messenger was, he came back with the message that Yusuf alayhi salam gave, that what is the present situation of the women who cut their hand. When he brought this particular scenario, the king opened up the case. The king became the investigator. And then the next ayah, Allah says that the king said to the woman, قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُنَّ إِذْ رَاوَدتُّنَّ يُوسُفَ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. The king said, what were you women up to when you tried to have Joseph give himself to you? So king is not asking how did you find Yusuf? What happened that day? Why did you send him to the prison? The king is not asking that. It means the king has already done all of this investigation. And now, when he has done this investigation, he has brought all of those women in his court, and he is asking those women, what were you women up to when you tried to have Joseph give himself to you? Now look at the style, the question, the style the king is investigating those women. It means the king has already investigated and found out the truth. And now he has invited all of those women, he's called upon all of those women to scold them. That what have you done with that man? And now those women have realized that the king already know the truth, and all of these years have been passed, and the women might have been embarrassed by whatever they did, and they might have this feeling, the burden that they have put an innocent person in the prison, or it might be just because they are afraid of the king now, and they're afraid that the king has already found out the truth because the way the king has presented this question in front of them, the women, either by embarrassment or by being feared from the king, said, "Qulna hasha lillah." Qulna, they said, Allah is above all. Hasha lillah. Ma alimna alayhi min su. We know nothing shameful to discredit him. قالت امرأة العزيز. Then the wife of the Aziz said, الآن حسحس الحق. Now, when the truth has been declared, أنا راودته. It was me. It was me who invited him, who invited him towards myself. أنا راودته عن نفسه وإنه لمن الصادقين. And certainly he was among those who were truthful. We have found nothing bad in him, we have nothing to say anything which can discredit him, and he is among the truthful people. Now, initially, the king was excited to see Yusuf alayhi salam because of the rightful dream interpretation he has done. And now, the king is even more excited to see and meet Yusuf alayhi salam because of all of the good testimonies and all of the true testimonies that now he is receiving about Yusuf alayhi salam. Now, Yusuf alayhi salam has been freed from all of the slander, all of the lies and rumors that have been circulating about him, about Yusuf alayhi salam. Yes, Sami, you want to say something? It would be good if you can share your
I want to
thoughts
say
about
something.
this question. Yep, please take the mic.
Sorry, I did not lower my hand from the previous time. I don't want to add anything for now.
Okay, that's fine.
Uh,
Brother Zain, from
yeah,
this ayah, yeah.
just I wanted to just add something. Not add. I want to just share my thoughts. That up to now we see the character of Al Malik. That he's being some kind of generous person. He's kind to his people. When he said that, please give me the interpretation of the dream which I have seen. Then he says that, please tell me the interpretation so that the people might know. So he's working towards the public interests, and he seems to be just and fair in the matter of Yusuf alayhi salam and him being in prison, because he has done the investigation and he's now trying to free him from the false allegations that has been put on him. So we just see from these verses that the ruler at that time is very much different from the character of Pharaoh. So uh, that's another proof that why Allah has not used the word Pharaoh for this Malik, and there's a clear demarcation between both of them, and that's why Yusuf alayhi salam has not declared war against him, or he has not debated that much like we see in the other prophets, in the characters and in the character and in the seerah of other prophets like Musa alayhi salam and different others, Saleh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because for now we have seen in our chapter of Itmam al-Hujjah that for the azab to come, the Qawm and then the people must be the transgressors, and they should be corrupt alongside with kufr. So right now we see that they are none of them. They might be on kufr, because we have discussed previously that they were not Muslims, but we don't see corruption or unjust behavior, or what would we say, al mufsidun fil ard. They are not mufsidun. They seems to be muslihun. So that's why that could be an answer to the question that we discussed in the first session, that why we don't see Yusuf alayhi salam giving dawah like Musa alayhi salam have done. So this could be an addition to this thought.
I think Yusuf al Islam is not giving dawah in a sense, in a very profound way. But have you noticed Hasha lillah? What the women are
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah,
the word
yeah,
Allah.
yeah. I
So
did notice that. Yeah,
yeah, so they have been introduced by this word
yeah.
Allah, and even the
Eh,
inmates.
there were some concepts around being the God, like Allah being the God. There was some beliefs out prevalent over there,
I
I
think
think.
it was Yusuf alayhi salam who introduced them to Allah, because remember what happened in the prison when both of the inmates they brought their dreams to be interpreted to Yusuf alayhi salam. What Yusuf alayhi salam did was give them dawah. He told them that it is Allah who has given him this knowledge, and he is from the legacy of prophets. His grandfather was Ibrahim alayhi salam, and his father is Yaqub
Mm-hmm.
alayhi salam. And then he gave them the interpretation of the dream. So so Yusuf alayhi salam has been giving dawah wherever he finds it appropriate, and then whatever the king, the Malik, he is extremely inspired by him, and he is. We will see in the coming ayah. He will give him an established place. So, yeah, but again, we are not seeing Yusuf alayhi salam as calling him or everyone towards monotheism. The story is quite unique to other prophets.
Yeah, Sister Khazima has raised the hand.
Yes, Sister Fatima.
Yes, I just want to add that what Musa alayhi salam has done is that he has created a challenge towards the people who were the cause of the corruption on the earth, because those are the people, the Egyptians at the time of the Musa alayhi salam, they were causing a big corruption on the earth. And these people who are in the time of the Yusuf alayhi salam, these are not creating any kind of corruption. Initially they have some faults in their belief system, and Musa alayhi salam is giving them the dawah of Tawheed. And apart from this, when the king came to know that Yusuf alayhi salam is from Siddiqeen, he accepted him, and then he will grant a position of Khazain to Yusuf alayhi salam. But in case of Pharaoh, Musa alayhi salam has presenting him, so many God gifted, we can say, mu'jiza, but despite of that, the Pharaoh rejected all that truth. So the whole situation is different in the two cases. So we can derive the result that in the time of Yusuf alayhi salam, though the people have the faults in their belief system, but still they accept the truth.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
from my side.
I
Yeah,
think we really need to do some further researches about this difference of situation, because up until now, Yusuf alayhi salam is the only one who is not profoundly calling people towards monotheism. Instead, he has taken a different route. He has taken like bottom-up approach.
Mm.
So inshallah, yeah, go on.
Yeah, or might be we can say that Yusuf alayhi salam has to present to the world that how can those people overcome their economic challenges, because
Yeah,
every prophet has a different task. So
yeah.
this is the task that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to Yusuf alayhi salam, that how, because the prophets are Allah sent the prophets to train the nations.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
might be
might be
through the
that.
use of Islam, we got the training that how we have to take over the economic situations.
Okay. Yeah, Jazakallah khair. It might be possible, and it looks like very much so.
well,
Now, yeah, go on.
one thing more, sorry. uh I'm not very much uh, agreed to your point that Yusuf alayhi salam did the dawah, and then that's why he has introduced the word Allah. Because when you see in the previous session and the previous verses, when the event of cutting the hands with their knives,
Hmm.
it went. So that then also they said
Yeah,
Qulna hasha lillahi ma hadha bashara. So
yeah.
they even then they use the word lillah. So I think there was a concept already existing in that time regarding Allah, and they were, because I don't think uh, I haven't seen any verse which clearly, explicitly tells that the whole nation at that time was a polytheist, or the Malik was a polytheist, or the people were the polytheists. Otherwise, if Yusuf alayhi salam, the Nabi or the Rasul of Allah, is present in any place and he is not challenging the system, he is not challenging the religion, how can that be? But there might be like the inmates of the prison. They might, the Yusuf alayhi salam might have known that they are not the monotheists, they are polytheists, and that's why he gave dawah to them. And we don't see Yusuf alayhi salam giving dawah to a national level to everyone, and from that we could just extract that the whole nation was not polytheist. What you say?
I think from my opinion, I have thought about it quite a lot, and I think we need to do further research. It might come down the lane, there might be some more indications of this question in the upcoming ayahs, inshallah. Let's keep on finding this
Yeah, we
this
do need
answer.
research. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sister Zara?
Sister Zara wants to say something, I think. Sister Zara, unmute your mic, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. Please.
Yeah, I had a question because I have read in listened to the Ustad Numan Ali Khan and also in Tafsir Ibn Kasir that when the wife of the Aziz was called back, had she not become a Muslim by that time?
Okay, let's talk about that in these two ayahs. So up until now,
And
we have seen. Yeah, sorry, go on.
and also, you know, the one of the question that was discussed before, that why Yusuf alayhi salam wanted to clear his name. Was it like in the later ayahs he himself says that I wanted my name to be cleared for my Aziz, so that he does not remember me in a bad way and knows that I was not disobedient to him.
Yeah. These are the two ayahs, ayah number 52 and 53. And these two ayahs will give guidance towards both of your questions. So let's do them. Let's go through them, inshallah. So up until now, what we have established so far is Yusuf alayhi salam name has been cleared. Why? Because the king investigated those women in a way that he already knew the truth, and he asked them, what was the matter with you women when you tried to have Joseph give himself to you? And then the women, even the women and the wife of the minister, all of them accepted their mistake and gave a testimony that Yusuf alayhi salam is free from any error. And now, ayah number 52, the upcoming ayah, it says, ذَلِكَ لِيَعْلَمَ أَنِّي لَمْ أَخُنْهُ بِالْغَيْبِ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي كَيْدَ الْخَائِنِينَ. And then Yusuf alayhi salam. So now there are two interpretations. This can be the statement that is represented to us, that Allah has told us in ayah 52 and 53. These both statements can either be from Yusuf alayhi salam or either be from the wife of the minister. So we will see how both of these interpretations fit into the scenario. Now let's imagine this is Yusuf alayhi salam saying these statements, giving these statements. Zalika. From Zalika we mean the Zalika is indicating towards the whole thing. That Zalika, why Yusuf alayhi salam opened the whole case and presented the whole case towards the king. Yusuf alayhi salam is saying, I said that so he knows. Li ya'lama. Ya'lama has a huwa pronoun hidden inside it, and that he can goes toward the king. That he pronoun can goes towards Allah, and that he pronoun can mention the minister himself. So Yusuf alayhi salam is saying, I say this so he knows that I didn't betray him behind his back, and that God never leads the scheme of betrayals to fruition. So now Yusuf alayhi salam is saying, I did the whole thing that without, even when I was given freedom and I was invited toward the royal palace. I did not accept that freedom, and I asked to open that case back again because I wanted to know that my master, the minister that I worked with, or the king himself, or Allah himself knows that I am not among the people who will betray him behind his back, because Allah does not lead the scheme of betrayals to fruition. And then he says, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. And then he is saying that I am not declaring myself that I am someone who can never sin. Certainly, the innermost self, keep dictating evil. إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي, except if my master show mercy, except my master show mercy. Inna Rabbi Ghafurur Rahim. And now Yusuf alayhi salam is saying, having been declared innocent is this particular case. I'm not saying that I am innocent and I do not have the capacity to sin in any circumstances. Just like we have all of the other organs. For example, we have hands as our organ, we have eyes as our organ, we also has nafs as our organ. The nafs is a spiritual organ which make humans to lead or to go toward fulfillment of their desires, lust, rage, greed, or these kind of animal related desires. So animals, when they have these kind of desires, they just fulfill it. When they have this drive, they go towards it. Human beings, if they are non-believing human beings, they will fulfill their desires, they will fulfill their lust, but whatever governing system they are in, whatever societal pressures or whatever societal consequences they could have, they just stop themselves from fulfilling those kind of desires. Whereas humans who are Muslims, the believing Muslims, they control their lust and desires and all kind of these negative emotions because they fear Allah, because Allah has forbidden them to do so. So here Yusuf alayhi salam is mentioning that all of us has nafs which tend them to do all of these kind of evil, and only because of the raham of Allah, the mercy of Allah, we are able to have his love so much so in ourselves that we stop ourselves from doing the negative things, the wrong things, and protect ourselves from because of the mercy of Allah, and stop ourselves from doing these things to not to enrage Allah or not to invite his anger. So these are so this can be the interpretation that these are two statements given by Yusuf alayhi salam when the messenger has come back to him with the news that he is innocent. Now he has been declared innocent, and now he is again invited to the palace. Now let's see both of these ayahs from the perspective that Zulaykha, I don't know what was her name, the wife of the minister, is saying. The wife of the minister can be saying these statements that I said this. So the wife of the minister is saying that I said this because I wanted Yusuf to know that I did not betray him behind his back. Because Allah does not guide the scheme of the betrayals. So he is saying once he has gone to the prison, she stops slandering about him. And then she's saying, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي, that I am no more calling myself that I am free. I am no more putting the blame of this slander on anyone else. I am accepting this blame. إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. I am blaming that my inner self promoted me to do this kind of evil, and I'm no more putting this blame on others. And then she is saying, إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي إِنَّ رَبِّي غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And now she is declaring that it doesn't matter how much sinful and how grave of an evil one has done. If she repents, Allah is very forgiving, and Allah is somebody who explores and who gives a lot of mercy to the humans. So both of these kind of interpretations has been done by the Mufassirun. My inclination is more towards that these are the dialogues of Yusuf alayhi salam because of the word zalika. Zalika is ismul ishara ba'id. So Yusuf alayhi salam is not present within the similar situation. The scene has moved from the royal palace to the prison now. So that's why Ismail Ishara Baid is used. If it was Zulekha, she should have said Hada liya alama, because she is right there in the situation. And this is the next ayah coming after, right after when the wife of the minister has accepted the blame on her. So my more inclination is toward these are the statements of Yusuf alayhi salam. So Yusuf alayhi salam is trying to tell the king that I'm still a human, and just because I am innocent does not mean that I won't have to face the same temptation, same challenges that everybody else has to face. Does not mean that my inner self won't call me to do evil, but the difference is that I will not listen to it and I will fight it. It does not mean that it does not mean that I am an angel and I am perfect. So now, after all of this happening, the king must have been extremely excited to have Yusuf alayhi salam in his palace. وقال الملك ائتوني به أستخلصه لنفسي فلما كلمه وقال فلما كلمه قال إنك اليوم لدينا مكين أمين. Now the king said, bring him to me, so I may appoint him directly and exclusively for my service. Then upon speaking to him, he said, from today you are in a strong position of trust by our side. And now the king has seen that what have the ministers been up to. The king has seen the cupbearer forget to mention Yusuf alayhi salam. Now the hierarchy that was working underneath the king does not trust the whole hierarchy anymore. That the whole hierarchy has been hiding such a knowledgeable, such an innocent person in the prison for such a long time. Now that he has been proven so innocent and so knowledgeable, king has appointed himself specially for his own service. And after talking to him, now king has said, قال إنك اليوم لدينا مكين أمين. Makin means somebody who has his permanent residence and who will have a lot of resources at his disposal. Why? Because he is Amin. He is trustworthy. The king is saying, you are absolutely trustworthy, and now you have a permanent spot just by me, and the key you are such trustworthy person that the keys to the nation, the keys to the resources will be handed over to you. He said, and now Yusuf alayhi salam said, he said, put me in charge of the reserves of the whole land, for I am knowledgeable and well informed. Now Yusuf alayhi salam is saying that because I am so knowledgeable and I am such a protector, and I have an eye towards the fine details. This is what means by Hafiz and Alim, somebody who is extremely knowledgeable and protector of the whole thing. And Yusuf alayhi salam is offering his own service in return to the trust that the king has given him. Yusuf alayhi salam is saying, instead of just sitting in the royal palace and enjoying the palace, I would rather be the treasurer of the whole land. So here we understand that this is not against humility, that we present our own skills where it is needed. So Yusuf alayhi salam is presenting his skills wherever these were required, so he can develop such kind of economic policies to protect the land from famine and protect the poor at that time when the need be. And this is the remarkable statement that now the scene, and within all of these scenes, the king was talking, and then Yusuf alayhi salam was talking, and now Allah is talking about himself. Allah is giving the lesson to all of Allah is giving a reflection on his own for us to understand. And now Allah is saying, وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَتَبَوَّأُ مِنْهَا حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ نُصِيبُ بِرَحْمَتِنَا مَن نَّشَاءُ وَلَا نُضِيءُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And Allah is saying, وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ, and that is how we gave Joseph a firm footing throughout the land. This is how we established Yusuf throughout the land, stationing himself wherever he saw fit. يَتَبَوَّأُ مِنْهَا حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ. There was a time Yusuf alayhi salam was not free. He was a slave. He was not able to eat according to his wishes. He was not able to walk according to his wishes. He was not able to dress according to his desires. He was not even allowed to go in the wind according to his desires. He was a slave. He was a prison, and within enslavement and within imprisonment, he kept on giving excellence. He kept on using the skills Allah provided him to the level of excellence wherever he could. And then and then because of his excellence and because of him remaining on the true path all through his life, Allah has now established him in a land and given him the ability to station himself wherever he saw fit. And this is how we rain our loving care on whoever we will. And we never allow the reward meant for the doer of good to be lost. And if we remember, وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا يُوسُفَ, this statement, this ayah has been revealed in Surah Yusuf some time ago as well, in ayah number 21. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. This is when Yusuf ﷺ was being sold as a slave to the minister. The minister bought him, and the man who bought him in Egypt said to his wife, make sure his life here is respectable. There is a good chance he will be a use to us. We might even adopt him, and that is how we gave Joseph firm footing in the land. So Allah is using the same statement, وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ, when he was being sold as a slave. And now Allah is using the same statement. This is not by chance. This is not by coincidence. There has to be a reason. Now, when Yusuf salam is acting as a governor, acting as a treasurer of the land, Allah is again saying, وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ. Here Allah is giving a reason. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Allah is giving a reason. وَلِنُعَلِّمُهُ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. So that we can teach him some of the meanings behind all kind of speech. And now, how does it establish that sometimes the first time when Allah used وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ, Allah has positioned him as a slave in a powerless state. And the second time Allah is using the same ayah وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ, now he's in a position of governance in a powerful state. What is the reason that Allah is using the similar statement in entirely opposite circumstances of Yusuf alayhi salam? Sometimes we think that a person is powerless. Allah is making people go through poverty, joblessness, enslavement, being present away from the family, but yet Allah was giving Yusuf alayhi salam exposure on how the trade market works, how the slaves are being sold, how are markets working, how does it feel to be an elite of the society, how does it feel to be a prisoner of the society, how does it feel, how to empathize with the poor, how are palaces working, how are ministers working, how do ministers conspire against each other. Allah is taking Yusuf alayhi salam and making him grow through all of the states of those societies, all of the classes of those particular societies, and the reason was وَلِنُعَلِّمُهُ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ, so that we can teach him some of the meanings behind all kind of speech. Sometimes we feel like why Allah is putting us through such difficult tests. This is because Allah is making us ready for a better position, for such a position where we can be of use, better use to the society. But for that we have to know the society inside out. We have to go through the hardships so we become strong enough to serve the deen in a better way. What Yusuf alayhi salam did, whatever skills and whatever truth he has been given, he kept on using all of them in excellence without wanting anything in return. He just kept on giving people with excellence, treating people with excellence. He just kept on prioritizing the rights of Allah. He just kept on prioritizing the commandments of Allah over his own desires, over whatever was happening. And then once he had all of these knowledge and excellence, the king himself came to him and asked for his excellence. The king himself came to him to ask for his knowledge. This is what happens when Allah when Allah gives somebody talent, and if he is using the talent in the right way, and he is using his willpower, this is rahmah of Allah, that Allah will then bring to him the right opportunities. The opportunities where he will be able to serve the society in the best possible manner. When we ask Allah, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina azaban nar, it means, oh Allah, give us the opportunities where we can serve the society in the best possible manner. So this is the rahmah of Allah. Sometimes what happens when somebody has talent, there are people who have talent, but they have no opportunities. And then there are people who have opportunities, but they do not have the talent. So these are scenarios where fireworks does not happen. And then sometimes people who have the talent get the right opportunity, but they do not serve the purpose of Allah. Even those people are not considered as having rahmah of Allah, as having mercy of Allah. So for example, if establishing Yusuf alayhi salam was a mercy of Allah, then Fir'aun had a better position than Yusuf alayhi salam. But that was not the mercy, because he was not establishing himself for establishing the commandments of Allah. Whereas Yusuf alayhi salam had the talent, was given the opportunity, and now he was establishing himself according to the commandment of Allah. And this was a big mercy. This was something that happened because he kept on using his talent on whatever scenario he has been given. He kept on serving with excellence in whatever scenarios were coming in front of him. And then once we have this excellence and skills and talents that we keep on using only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah bring all of those opportunities in front of us. And if we use our talents towards the right opportunities, we will be able to serve the humanity in the best possible manner. And this is called as the rahmah of Allah. So this is all from my side. If anyone wants to share the thoughts or opinions, please go ahead. And if we would really appreciate if you can fill up the feedback form. This helps us grow better. Yeah, Jazakallah khairan kaseera. If anyone has any questions or any thoughts to share, please take the mic.
Jazakallah khair, sister. Can you share the feedback form in the chat room, please?
Jumeirah, please do it.
Jazakallah khair, Mehreen.
Yes, I just did. I shared it in the group.
Oh, Jazakallah khair.
I don't think anyone has a question, but Sister Marine, do you have any a closing statement with the reflection of the current time, with the whole story you explained today? That would be great if you can share, please.
One of the reflections that I had regarding the cupbearer. Remember, the cupbearer forget to mention Yusuf alayhi salam to the king. Yet Yusuf alayhi salam, when the cupbearer came back to him asking for the interpretation of the dream, Yusuf alayhi salam gave the interpretation. So sometimes when we are doing good, we expect the other person to give us something in return. And when that other person is not giving us anything in return, we feel disappointed that, okay, I'm not going to do any good any further. So this is the scenario. This is the emotional intelligence Allah is teaching us, that no matter people are not returning any favor to you, this is what we learn from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. We need to serve humanity with the same excellence. Whatever skills Allah has taught us, we need to keep on serving them, even if we are not receiving any return, even if in return we are receiving slanders. We need to serve them with excellence. So this is one of the profound reflection that I learned for myself. And then the second one was when Yusuf alayhi salam refused to go back to the king, to go back to freedom within the same circumstances. His stance was, if the circumstances are still the same, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to the freedom. I'm not going back to take any position in the royal family. Because if I am taking care of the economic resources, and then these women are again to slander, then all of my economic policies are going to sink before they can even float. So these were two things that really struck me hard. And Brother Samir or anyone, if you want to share any reflections of your own, please do take the mic.
I think the first one you mentioned, you mean they do selflessly everything for the sake of purely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rather than for their self. So they're serving people without their acknowledgement and their appreciation. They're not in a greed of people will appreciate their work and everything, because their reward come from Allah, not from these people. Number second is, in the current times where we see our politicians, especially the Muslim leaders, when they get opportunity to get out from their corrupt cases or whatever opportunity they get, they avail it straight away, because they know serving the community for the sake of Allah. They know basically here to implement the deen of Allah. They are here to get all the benefit for their own personal reasons. And as soon they get the opportunity to get out from the hardship or the jail or the cases, they take the opportunity, because they're not serving us, they're not serving Allah. So purely when the intentions so the leader abilities and the leader qualification has to be met with the principle of Allah rather than your own benefits. So that's what I get from the Yusuf alayhi salam. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Sister Saima, your hand is up.
Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Alaikum assalam.
So I have a question that there's a hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Bukhari. Nothing is left of prophethood except good dreams, which a Muslim sees or are seen about him. So how do we connect the dream part of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam with this hadith? Because it seems like to me that we can somehow connect it with, this is forever. It's not just for that time. So do you know how we can connect that?
So your question is that the hadith is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that nothing is left out from prophethood but good dreams, but the right dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the righteous people these days do get the right dreams. Yusuf alayhi salam was way before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and at that time people used to say the right dreams. So I don't really understand the question.
Yeah, even if I'm not wrong, I think at the time of Musa alayhi salam, the Pharaoh, he saw a dream too, and even though he was not like a Muslim, he was a really bad person, but even then he saw a true dream. So I kind of get confused with this, that should we like only a good person, a good Muslim can see a true dream, or anybody can see a true dream?
Well, even the Malik of Yusuf alayhi salam, he is a disbelieving person.
Yeah.
True dreams can come to anyone. And then the level of that dream disturbing the king, I think it was paving the way for Yusuf alayhi salam to come and get the governance. This is Allah making a plan compared to the brothers of Yusuf and Shaitan making a plan. So I think the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is prophets used to receive revelations and books and guidance from Allah, whereas the people from his ummah, they will have only one connection for divine direct divine guidance apart from the book and the stories of and the seerah of different anbiya, and that particular part of divine interpretation is divine I would say divine guidance is the right dreams.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it makes sense, because we don't have prophets anymore, and we don't have that kind of miracles happening right now. So we need some connection, and yeah, this could be it. Even yeah, that would be it. Thank you.
Okay.
I think you even get the precautions and the warnings in the dreams. So dreams are for not only for the good people, it could be for anyone, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we do not send a punishment to the people till we complete our message to them. So Allah always give a warning first, and then he actually give you the punishment. So it could be for anyone, I think.
Yeah,
There are two kinds of dreams. One is ru'ya, one is ahlam, and then the others are like our day-to-day, dreams from ourselves. These dreams are generally representation of our day-to-day worries and day-to-day activities. And then there are ihlam, dreams from shaitan to disturb us. And then the Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has taught us a method not to worry about these dreams. And then we have ru'ya. These are the right dreams from Allah. And I think we remember, these are the dreams that we remember that like we have clearly seen them. So yeah, may Allah make us among the people who are guided. Yes, Muhammad Arshad, take the mic, please.
Yeah, I just want to add that the dream that the king has seen is coming from Allah. So it was a plan of Allah to bring Yusuf alayhi salam out of the prison. So he gave the dream to the king, and eventually the king said, "Indeed, you are today established and trusted." Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, he explained this ayat that these words were not spoken by the king, but actually they were spoken by Allah through the king. Indeed, you are today established and trusted. So it was actually the plan of Allah to get Yusuf alayhi salam outside the prison through the dream of the king.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Everyone, Sister Humaira has shared the feedback form in IMS UK community announcement section. Please go there and fill up that feedback form. It would help us improve our sessions. Jazakallahu khairan kaseera. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.